thanks to the supporter channel member Liam Cooney. Okay, so I feel like maybe I could and should have paid a little bit closer attention to this before deciding South Africa was the nation for me. Only one team gets into the Champions League out of this league, the champions. And even then, they only get into the preliminary round of the Champions League. This all of a sudden got a lot harder. And there's your confirmation of it. So first place goes into Champions League preliminary round. Second place goes into the Confederation Cup, which is the African equivalent of the Europa League. So, I mean, that's not ideal. I'm just checking from Egypt. We're going to check Tunisia as well. Can we not look at Egypt? Oh, that's not good. Oh, is everything broken? Right, Tunisia we can look at. I don't know why we can't click on the Egyptian league. Do we mention anything about... There you go. Top team qualifies for the Champions League preliminary round. So just one out of Tunisia goes through as well. Egypt. Oh, no, not structure. Egypt. Okay, this might just be an African thing, because in all of these leagues, it's only first place that goes into the Champions League, and they all go into a preliminary round. So I guess the African Champions League, quite hard to win, because just like in Europe, back in the olden days, you have to win your domestic league first, which, as you can see, we are no longer in pole position for. As expected, Kaiser Chiefs, as they start to play their games in hand, have started to move up the league. We've had a little bit of a wobble as well. We lost a couple of matches consecutively. We've had a couple where we've not picked up our victories. Bearing in mind we're supposed to be a mid-table team, to still be 3 points off the top of the table as we approach the halfway point is pretty good. But today we face Cape Town Spurs, I think. Yeah, why is it? I don't know why that date wasn't showing up on there. There we... No, that's not... Why is the dates wrong? There you go. There's today. I don't know what's going on. So today we face Cape Town Spurs, who are above us in the league. And if we do anything but win, we can pretty much write off our chances of getting into the Champions League this season, which would not be ideal. And of course, we have to check in on Cape Town Spurs to see where they are. Not a million miles away from us. We're just out here somewhere. I forget where exactly. It's around here. So we're not a million miles away. Cape Town are actually the team, or Cape Town Spurs are actually the team that we managed when I did my previous version of the Pentagon as well. So I have won the African Champions League with Cape Town Spurs previously, but the stadium does look very snazzy. It's got a swimming pool right outside as well, if we pop ourselves down there. All the cars are white. That's weird. There you go. There's a green. I think that's a police car. These might all be emergency vehicles. Oh, there's the stadium. Look, I mean, it's got a bit of a Wembley Arch situation going on. It's the Cape Town Arch. Let's just go and win, shall we? And this is the team we're putting out there to try and pick up that win. It's Rebello in goal, a back four of Radaby. I don't know why I say that guy's name wrong every day. Radaby, Deluli, Gwenya, and Lofi. I still can't say any of their names right. I am a monster. Makubo at the base of the midfield. Zimela and Mathibula in central midfield, and Bambo on the left, Dlamini on the right, and Makanya up front. Oh my word. Interestingly, the quick pick wants me to drop Mbambo for this massive game, and he's not in the most incredible form. He is, though, our best player by quite a stretch. So the idea of dropping him for such an important game seems interesting. We're not going to. Instead, we're going to do that. We're going to get the near post corner in. We're going to get the big boy hovering at the near post, and we're going to do a football goal. That's how we roll, boys and girls. Forget the Cape Town Arch. Nobody's here. 1-0. That is what I'm talking about. This guy, only 6'3". He's not one of my biggest giants. I do have bigger ones. On the topic of giants, Kurt, Big Kurt, 6'4", 18-year-old striker Kurt, is now fit and has been drafted into the drafted into the first team mix and expect to see him starting to be used as the season goes on, especially if we fall out of this title race and it becomes clear it's going to be a slightly longer process than anticipated to get into the Champions League. Then we may as well just get players like him ready, because when we get to the Champions League, I would very much like to be there with a 6'4" striker leading the line, because I think that's going to give us a little bit of an advantage when it comes to, trying to win it once we're actually in it. That was an absolutely open goal. I have no idea how they've missed that, but somehow they have, and we remain 1-0 up. And as it stands right now, we're level on points again with Kaiser Chiefs at the top of the league. They do have 2 games in hand again, off the back of, we've now missed a sitter as well, off the back of us playing this game. So I think they're still very, very strong favourites for winning the league. But if we can come here and pick up a win today, we've got a pretty good shot of getting into that Confederations Cup, which I don't know if it works the same way to the Europa League, but maybe winning that would be another route into the Champions League. That would be quite nice. That might be a thing to do. And Bambo, from the penalty spot, drills it down the throat of the Spurs goalkeeper. Come on, then. This is what where is everybody? There's there's like 5 people. I just want to see the attendance. Match stats. There's only 3,500 people who've turned up. This is a top of the table clash in the top flight in South Africa. 2 relatively local teams to each other as well. I don't know that they care very much about football in this country. We might have to go to Egypt. I might start keeping my eye out for jobs in Egypt, because if fans can't turn up for a game like this, what hope have we got? We might just we'll do a cheeky little league win, and then we'll disappear off to Egypt and win the Champions League from there. That might be the route. And the thing is, as we saw back in the summer when we got this job, the time to do that isn't going to be at the end of a season. So it's probably around about now we need to be keeping an eye on the Egyptian leagues, the Tunisian league, and if there's a big team that have had a iffy first half of the season and have decided to sack their manager, that's our moment to strike and get in there and try and get the job. It might be a little bit too soon to do it now. I don't know if I'd be able to get out of. I think I've got a 3-year contract here, so it might not be something we can do this season, but maybe this time next year, if things aren't going well, that's when we look to do a bit of a sidestep towards a bigger club from a bigger league who can maybe help me throw a little bit more money around, because there's no money here in South Africa, and I think it's because there's no fans. The fans don't care, so as a result, there's no money, which means you get a player like Mbambo who's wanted by big European clubs, and you then have to sell him for £500,000, because £500,000 is a lot of money to us. But then on the flip side of that, we're £1 million in debt. So I'd quite like to clear the debts with my player who's going to go off and play in Serie A, please. And on the topic of him, he's now coming off, and in fact, we're making a double change. So we'll bring Phillips onto the left-hand side. Big Kurt. See, the problem is Phillips can't play on the left-hand side. He can a bit. We've played him there a little bit. He'll play out there, and we'll play Kurt up front. We're also going to bring on Hendricks at the back, because we've got some tired little legs back there as well. It only saves us 1 substitution. But we're keeping an eye on Phillips and Vilakazi as a potential front 2. I think we're probably going to switch to a 2-striker system once the 2 of them are ready to step up and be a part of that. Kunani coming on in midfield as well, just to see the game out. It's been relatively comfortable from us. What I would like to see is number 61 up front, Kurt Vilakazi. There he is, hovering around. I want to see him being enormous, and hope that he starts to develop into everything we've ever wanted from a centre forward. Here is Phillips on the left-hand side. Can he find the cross to the big boy? He plays it back to Kunani, and no, he couldn't. The move breaks down, and with 10 minutes still to go, if they score here, we do have a nervy final 10 minutes, when I'd kind of decided that we were in a title race after all. Good work from Radaby. I still want to say his name wrong. Radaby heads it clear, and that's some really good defending. I think that's Deluli, the 17-year-old, getting in there with an excellent block to put it behind for a corner. maintain our 2-goal lead, at least for now. And there is Big Kurt in there, and there's Rebello, another of our giants as well. We make them big here in Stellenbosch, boys and girls. We are a team full of young players who are all massive, and I love it. Radaby plays it forward to Phillips. Phillips isn't massive, but he's good. So I guess that makes up for it. Dlamini is in, and Dlamini sneaks it in underneath the goalkeeper. I mean, that's terrible goalkeeping. There's no way he should be beaten from that range at his near post, but he is. It's 3-0. It's been pretty comfortable in the end. There's still 5 minutes left. We could grab a fourth yet. We still are yet to play Kaiser Chiefs in the league. They keep hiding from us. They keep delaying their matches. At least one of those games in hand they've got is against us, and I know that's not how games in hand work, but that's a game they've had delayed in this first half of the season, is the one against us, because I think we've now played 15 matches in a 16-team league, and we've not played Kaiser Chiefs at all. So we're playing them twice in this second half of the season, which means even with those 2 games in hand, if we can beat them the 2 times we play them, whilst obviously continuing to beat the rascals like Cape Town Spurs, who are also competing with us, we end up having a real chance. But next up, we have a semi-final. Do we care about the Telkom knockout? Is that an important competition? No. So I'm not actually going to show you that one. Or am I? Because the next one is you know what? We'll show you the semi-final, because Pretoria Callies is even less interesting. So, yeah, there's 2 games against Kaiser Chiefs in our last kind of 8 matches. Is big. But first, let's beat Mamelodi Sundowns and get ourselves into a final. We'd love a trophy. Well, as we have throughout this tournament, we are rotating a little bit for this game against Sundowns. We keep Rebello in goal, but Nonyani is coming in at left back. This is only his second start of the season. The previous one was also in this competition. Deluli, who we've just offered a new contract to, stays in at centre back alongside my only signing so far in Hendricks, and then Makubo is going to play at right back for us. He's your usual starter at centre back, but we're moving him over to right back for today because he can play there. He occasionally moves over there mid-match. Selemani, who I think we're probably looking to get rid of, plays at the base of midfield. He does have 68 caps for Zimbabwe, but he's not good enough to play for us. And Kunani, the youngster, is going to get a rare start in midfield alongside Rapatsa, who's another one who, when we've used him, has looked half decent, but he's old. He's old and he's not one of ours, so we're not that interested in developing him. And Bambo's dropping down to the bench. My, again, selection advice wanted to get him out of the squad altogether for this match. I don't know what he's done to upset my assistant manager, but he definitely has, unless I'm just seeing something that's not there with him anymore, which is that. And that's all I need to see to know that he's good. But Dlamini moves over to the left, which means Koza can come in on the right-hand side, and we're going to give Phillips a go up front from the start again because Macania has picked up an injury anyway. We're probably going to look to get Kurt on shortly after half-time, either alongside Phillips or replacing him, depending on how the game is going. If we're chasing the game, then we'll get rid of Selemani and go with 2 up top, one of which will be the big boy. See, this is how you properly support a football club. Cape Town Spurs, pathetic. It goes with the name. Anyone with Spurs in the name, what do you expect, really? But us, in a cup competition we don't really care about, where we've put out a team, half of which are our reserves, our star players aren't even in the squad, 11,000 people have turned up for the C-tier tournament. Our fans care. Admittedly, I'm training them not to care with my team selection, but we're going to win anyway. Dlamini with the corner, and that was Deluli with the header straight at the goalkeeper, but he hit it very hard with his head and very nearly forcing it past the keeper. Their keeper looks massive as well, similar to ours, and there's Deluli with a much less effective header second time around. As mentioned, he's one of a few of the youngsters we've offered new contracts to. Rebello, our goalkeeper, is another one. And unfortunately, he's insisted on us adding a minimum fee release clause to his new contract. We've got to give him the new contract or he can walk out for free at the end of next season. So he's got a 3-year deal, but it's got like a £350,000 release clause on it for our 19-year-old starting goalkeeper who I'd happily keep here forever. South Africa is annoying because of how little the transfer fees are. It doesn't seem to matter how good the players are. They can be South African internationals. They can be chased after by European clubs. Doesn't matter. Trying to convince anyone, yeah, we'll sell you for 3 million. It just doesn't seem to exist here. Transfer fees are just low, even when it's to big clubs who can typically afford to pay loads more. I mean, I think I mentioned it in the last episode. If you're Inter Milan or Napoli, there is very little difference between 350,000 as a release clause and 3.5 million as a release clause. So we may as well set it for foreign clubs at 3.5 million. He can have a domestic one at 500,000 if he wants, but let's have the foreign one at 3.5 million. Let's make the foreign clubs pay the kind of money they'd have to pay for players from their own continent. But apparently that's not the way it works. They've had a couple of very rough tackles on us. It's about time they got the red card. There's an argument they could have had 2. I think they've given away a penalty there as well. Or at least I feel like there could have been a shout for one, but they're just trying to kick us off the pitch here, which is not very sporting, if you ask me. There is the youngster, Kanani, picking the ball up deep. He's looking for options ahead of him, slides it forward to Dlamini, who's another one who has been offered a new contract. We can't get a new contract on Bambo because he knows he's wanted by bigger clubs, but Dlamini is the kind of a tier below ability-wise, but with him being that tier below ability-wise, he's a player we might actually be able to keep at the club because he's not even insisted on getting a release clause. So he's somebody that we can potentially build around. Like, he's a 3.5, 4-star player. He might become an international at some point. He's never likely to head off to Europe. He's never likely to become a superstar. He can stay here for 10 years. And that's probably more important to us than the likes of Mbambo if we can't sell them for big money. If the really talented ones aren't even going to clear our debts, they're just going to leave. And I'm looking at Rebello as well when I'm talking about that. Then we may as well just not focus on it. We'll use them while they're here, obviously, if they're better than everyone else we've got. But they're not really players we can build around. Right, Rapazza bursting out of midfield, finds Phillips. That was a big chance for Phillips. He's just swung wildly at it. And it's ended up going over. Dlamini now trying a short corner to Phillips, who sticks it up to Salamani. Salamani doesn't really know what to do with it. It's Daluli who'd pulled out onto the left-hand side. That was weird all round. Our centre-forward had come short. Our centre-back had drifted out onto the wing. I don't really know what the plan was there. It certainly wasn't a very good one, though. And there is Koza heading it forward just kind of aimlessly again. This time gives it to Salamani. I think Salamani is likely to be coming off in a minute. And we're going to get big Kurt on up front. Koza is going to try and get us a goal before then. No, cross comes in. Dlamini with the header that comes back off the crossbar. And now Kanani out to Koza again. It comes back to Makubo, of course, is normally a centre-back. It's another good cross, aiming for Dlamini again. Right, we're bombarding crosses in. We need to get someone who can actually head into that penalty area. Right, we are going to take off Salamani. We're going to bring on Big Kurt. And we are going to get him up front. We're just playing both as an advanced forward. Why not? We're going for a 4-2-4. They're down to 10 men. We can sacrifice our holding midfielder. It's not really an FM24 4-2-4 because you're supposed to do that with 2 DMs. We're doing it with 2 central midfielders. It's closer to an old school 4-4-2. Rapazza into Phillips. And again, a big chance for Phillips. And again, he doesn't take it. Right, we have a corner now. Tallulah is there to meet it again. He's had some chances today as well. I mean, we are all over them. Nonyani has picked up a knock. Radaby is not. I think Radaby was suspended for today, which is why he's not on the bench. We don't have anyone who can play left back. So Gwenya, who's an unconvincing left back, we're basically playing 4 centre backs now. We've gone full Manchester City. It's not ideal. And now Dlamini's injured. This is really not ideal. And Bambo's going to come on. This is our final stoppage. So I'm now looking. Let's get Unlove on at right back because he's a bit more of an attacking option. And I think we've got no more stoppages now. And it's all because they're kicking us off the park. They've had a red card. Yeah, no stoppages. We can't make any more changes. They've kicked us off the park. They've got a red card. They've injured multiple of our players. And we are still yet to find the breakthrough. They're going to score here, aren't they? We're going to go attacking. I'm going to offer some encouragement to the entire team. And this is their first attack in a highlight we've seen in the entire match. And luckily, the shot is a wild one. But we need to get the ball forward to what is a very makeshift attack for us now. Although Mbambo, of course, you would like to think should be capable of winning us the match on his own if he's good enough to go and play for Napoli or Inter, which the longer it goes on with them wanting him but not actually making an offer for him, the more I question if that's ever likely to materialise. I mean, that's hideous. We have been the better team by a long, long way. Little bit of naivety from our young boys here. We're going very attacking. We're going to demand more. We've just been out-muscled by a big, strong team who've got more experience winning than we have. And it's not ideal. We've gone attacking. We can't make any more substitutions because they wasted them all with their fouls on us. And this is our last throw of the dice. We've gone very attacking. We've got the two strikers up. If we can get a corner, we can get Rebello at 6'4" forward as well. Kanani across to Mbambo. I said he could come on and do it all on his own. I don't know what he's done to upset my assistant manager, but he's still clearly our best player, our big game player. And that's a 93rd minute equaliser from him. And now we've gone back to normal attacking. And that's huge. Oh, 2 goals in 45 seconds after the 90th minute. I said they had more experience winning. Maybe we've got the winning mentality after all. That's a great header. I mean, this is completely deserved. And I think we are booking our spot in the final when it looked like we were done. Cross comes in again and Phillips with yet another miss. Phillips has had a rotten game in front of goal. But we have booked our spot in the final of what I guess is effectively the South African League Cup. No less than we deserved, but very dramatic style. And Glabini's broken his ankle. After all that talk of building a team around him, they've broken his ankle. He's pulled his calf muscle. No, you're not going to have an injection. They're just a bunch of thugs. But we have a final, which is relatively soon. So I guess we'll show you a final in the next episode. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.